or they can take it away.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see. Um, Welcome to the podcast. We're live from the internet.
We are live from the internet.
We
Woo!
are attempting to do this quick and dirty because I have to drive to Ohio and I haven't packed. And also, I may or may not have food poisoning.
All these times you gave me shit about food poisoning, and here you are.
I think it's just a light case.
I mean, last time I had a light case, I recorded while I had food poisoning. It's manageable. uh,
How are you?
I'm pretty good actually. I'm in this like weird middle week where I went on phase 1 of my vacation last weekend and I'm going on phase 2 this upcoming week and I'm already packed
Oh,
several days in advance.
sidebar, if you hear a annoying drumming noise, it's because of course there's construction happening because we are recording at 9 a.m.
Yep.
So
uh, for once, there's not construction outside of my house. There has been for like the last 2 weeks every fucking morning, and not today. So only on one side this time.
exciting. Oh, well, and because Aaron is going out of town, we'll have a guest host next week.
Yeah,
Since it is,
imagine someone who's gonna watch SummerSlam.
you should watch parts of it.
I mean, I am gonna watch parts of it, but I would much rather be like, this is good, I'm gonna watch this, as opposed to trying to call something that I'm not watching the current product for. I understand that's like part of the fun is I'm like wildly guessing, but like you'll actually have someone who's knowledgeable this time.
Well, semi-knowledgeable.
I mean, she's a new convert. I feel like that's even more valuable information in many ways, where it's like, oh, you're new and you like some things that we like and you have good taste, but what are you drawn to specifically as a new person? Like, I find that fascinating still.
Yeah. So there's that.
Mhm.
I'm glad that you're going on vacation. Gonna go see Pizzazz.
I'm so excited to see Pizzazz. I'm so excited. I'm going to Denver for 3 days and then I'm going to Seattle for 4 days. I'm so excited. I'm flying shitty airlines because I'm me and that's what I do. And so I'm taking one backpack for 8 days and I did all of my laundry and I packed it all the other day and I'm very proud of my expert level packing. I'm
Yeah,
so
that was
excited.
fucking impressive.
Dude, I only wound up taking out one pair of jeans, but then I put in something else too that like made up for it. And I was like, I literally put all of this shit into this backpack. Like you asked me when we went to Long Island, you were like, "Man, that's one backpack for this amount of days." And I was like, "Yeah, I take this backpack everywhere."
It's impressive.
I love it. It's great. It means that I was a chronic overpacker for like my basically my whole life until I became an adult who had to pay for extra baggage and then I became someone who packs fucking nothing and it's amazing. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I went on my vacation phase 1 this weekend. I spent an entire day in a pool in the backyard. It was so beautiful. We drank Mai Tais all day. I loved it. It was so much fun. How are you other than your food poisoning?
Fine. I'm about to get ready to drive to Indiana because it's Gen Con weekend. So I'm performing tonight and tomorrow. So yeah, that's basically where I am. I had some good job interview type stuff this
Yay.
week. So
Good.
yeah, my current job situation is like toxic. Also, I just got a text from the girl who's covering for me and she was like, the health inspector is here. And I was like, sorry.
LOL, LOL. That's very funny that you missed out on
Sorry
that.
about it.
I love it.
So that's hilarious to me.
Good, good, good.
Um, yeah. So, what wrestling merch are you wearing at 9 a.m. on this Thursday?
I'm fucking not. You know that I'm not. It's 9 o'clock.
Me neither.
I went to bed last night and was like, should I put something on now so that when I wake up, I'm just already wearing it? Nope, sure didn't.
Yeah, I'm in my pajamas.
Yep, same here. It's quite nice.
All right, wrestling.
All right, let's do it.
Is there any news?
I don't know. You said that and my mind went completely blank. I don't
You're
know.
like the news person.
I know. Um,
This is your contribution.
Oh, here's some exciting news related to friend of the podcast, Joey Ryan. He and Miranda had a match that went viral recently and had 4 million views in like 2 days, which is super exciting. Also, I'm so excited that it's Miranda. I fucking love Miranda.
Yeah, once she turned heel, it was like, oh, I get
Oh,
it.
game changer. She's so
Yeah.
fucking great at this character, and like you can see it in the results of how many people are watching this match. Like it's so good. Oh, also fucking news again related to people who have wrestled Joey Ryan. Fucking Double D Rose. We found out. So we talked about how fucking great their match was at Rise, Pride, and Joy, which you can watch free on YouTube now, and you fucking should because it's a great show. But we talked about how great Double D Rose and Joey Ryan's match was at this Rise show. We found out yesterday that Double D Rose. So we talked about how she has like the eye patch and the mace. We were like, maybe too many accessories. Well, the reason she has an eye patch is because she had her fucking eye removed and then did this goddamn match, which just all of us in the group chat yesterday were like, she had a what? What was it, like less than 3 months? She rehabbed and was like back out there wrestling again, and then had this fucking masterclass match with no depth perception. Like it just blew my fucking mind.
She wrote a post where she was like, I basically was blind in that eye anyway, so it's not like
True.
She was like, I learned how to wrestle with one eye essentially. So it's like actually not that different for me, but it's also super badass.
She had her eye removed. Like, okay, I understand you're basically blind in this eye. That's cool. Yes, truly, you do learn differently when you're doing that. But also, you had your eye removed and then fucking wrestled. Like, that shit's crazy to me. There are so many badass people inside of wrestling, but the kind of fucking injuries and the kind of things that women have done while they are wrestling and then are just like, sup, I'm back. It's been 6 weeks. I have cancer. Like shit like that just blows my fucking mind. Like I know that the men are going through equally hard things in many cases, but I just feel like every story I hear about women getting injured in wrestling is just like, I'm sorry, are you a titan? Why can you still do this? This is bananas to me.
Because women are strong as hell.
Yeah, they are. That's fucking true.
So strong that you can be pregnant and also a champion.
Fuck yeah, you can.
As soon as Mike won it, everybody in the group Slack was like, yeah, Maria's getting this title. She made her husband lay down and she put her foot on top of him.
I love it. I love it.
I think, but also it seems like it's such, this Maria stuff is such like a fine line because sometimes it's like totally gross. And sometimes it's like, okay, this is kind of cool, but also like, how do you take it off of a pregnant woman?
Yeah.
I'm very nervous for this. I'm
also very like, what?
Unless it's like a Ted DiBiase, I'm going to give you a ton of money for this belt. Like, how do you take it off of a pregnant woman?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so I have a question about the logistics of how the belt changes. Can it only change with a pin or can you submit also?
I think you can submit also.
I have a feeling that's probably what will happen is it'll be something like that where she'll wind up having to submit, but I don't know how. I don't know under what circumstances.
But still, I don't know.
I mean, it's funny because I thought you were going to say too the fine line about we've been talking about how Vince is like, we're moving into more edgy products, but it's not going to be that blood and gore crap.
Edgy just means sexist.
Exactly.
WWE.
Exactly. And so it's like, I'm really torn about, like, we've talked before a lot about Maria as a character inside of WWE where, and outside of WWE, where she's a woman who fucking owns her agency. And she can do stuff like this, which feels with anyone else would feel like really gross and really like, ugh, you're just doing weird attitude era shit.
I mean, it still kind of feels like that.
Yes, it does. Absolutely. You're right. But I mean, too, that like, I find it like this weird fine line because specifically it's Maria, where, like I said, she owns her agency so hard and has had this like, yeah, I'm a diva. That's like my whole fucking thing. Like, it's not bad. It's not a slur. It's who I am. This is how I wrestle. These are the characters I play. Like, she owns it so hard that if it was someone else, I feel like I would have a much bigger problem with it. But she's so fucking good at it. And like, do I want to see a pregnant woman get submitted or have to change the title? No, not really. Am I cool with it being Maria? Yeah, I kind of am actually, where like, I don't know that anyone else could get away with this, but she exists in this like weird gray in between space that I appreciate, at least that they are allowing her to show that she's very fucking good at this.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. And like, Maria and Mike get TV time. Like
Yeah.
the Raw opened up with a 24/7 championship title match, and it was a mixed tag. Like the greatest thing Drake Maverick's ever done for his wife is get her on TV on
Oh
WWE
my God.
TV a fucking bunch, because it was
Yeah.
a mixed tag between Carmella and R-Truth and Drake and his wife Renee, and it was fun and silly and whatever, and R-Truth won, but it was also like they called it something else. It was essentially a lumberjack match, but they called it like a mosh pit. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they
It's
call it a mosh
stupid.
pit.
It was very stupid.
Well, it's
But so
because
essentially,
I assumed it was because they're with a lumberjack, it's all men, and a lumberjill, it's all women, and they were like, "What the fuck do we call this? Where do a bunch of people all go? Oh, a mosh pit."
I mean, it was all men on the outside.
Oh, it was. I thought there were women out there too.
I don't think there was. I don't
Oh,
quite
okay.
remember, but I don't think there was. But anyways,
Oh,
so obviously like Truth wins, but then they all literally pile on top of him because they're there, and Mike scrolls out with the belt, and of course everyone's like, well, that's Maria's belt
yep.
now. But yeah, like so it's the 24/7 title has had like a lot of women involved in it in various ways. Also, like Carmella, the best friend for never trying to pin Truth. Truly
Yeah,
like a ride or die friend.
yeah, truly. I still think about that scene where Truth wins back the title on the golf course, and Carmella's just on the golf course going, "Come on, Truth! Come on, baby, let's go!" All the time. Every time I see them together, it's all I can think is her just squawking this at him. And especially now, knowing like, bitch, you could have won that title and took off in that golf cart on your own and did not. Like, good for you, Mela. You are money.
Mella is money. I love it. Yeah, I don't know. I get what you're saying. I am still slightly worried because it's Paul Heyman and
Yeah.
Vince. And like Paul Heyman is great at writing wrestling, but also is like,
Bad at women. Yeah.
bad at women.
Right.
Bad at women. Moment of bliss
Yes.
where Alexa Bliss and Becky go back and forth. I like Becky's new hair color a lot.
Honestly, I didn't even notice that it was that
Really?
different. No, part of
Just
it
like
is
a
that
more muted orange, and it looks more natural, and I like it a lot.
I feel. Oh no! I'm sorry. I was thinking of she and Seth had those red carpet photos where she had her hair like pulled back and it was like slicked sort of, and she was in a suit. I was thinking that it was lighter then, but I think it might just have been the way that it was styled and like the product.
Honestly, it may have been lighter for a couple weeks. I noticed it this week, and I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
"Oh, this looks very good."
Okay, that might be why I was like, what? I don't. Yeah, because I've also noticed that it's been a little bit like lighter. If it almost feels like they just let the dye go a little bit and then put like a fresh round of toner on it, as opposed to putting more dye on top of it.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, I
Regardless.
like it a lot.
Her and Alexa have a good back and forth. Like, I mean, they're both pretty good at talking. And once you separate Becky from Seth, she can fucking cut a promo again.
Oh,
And
can you
also,
imagine?
Becky being like kind of she's not a bad guy, but she's like being an asshole in the way that we all love when
Right.
Becky's an asshole. So like
Yeah.
that's nice again. Because she was like, she interrupted Natty training and put her in an armbar and was like basically a cunt to her, which was awesome. And it's like, oh yeah, this is the reason we liked Becky Lynch. Remember when she got over like this, and then you shoved Ronda Rousey in this, and then you shoved Seth Rollins in this, and you like were like, why don't people people still like Becky, but she's losing steam. I wonder why. Put your grubby fingers in it. Also, it's weird because they did this several times that night. Like Seth and Becky have been separated, but a bunch of times they were like Seth Rollins' girlfriend, Becky Lynch, and not once did they say Becky Lynch's boyfriend, Seth Rollins. It was fucking annoying. And it was like, if you separated them, just separate them. We get it. They're dating. Who cares?
I hate that.
It was like they were using it as like transitions, like to transition from a men's segment to a women's segment. And it was so fucking stupid.
I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate
of course, because it's awful. Why would you like it? Alexa and Becky had a pretty good match. I think Alexa trained with Quackenbush when she was hurt and stuff. And you can really tell Alexa has like really stepped it up wrestling wise. And I'm very much enjoying her matches. She has a quote unquote injury. But then that leads into a really fun match between Becky and Nikki. I was like, oh, I can't wait for the turn, blah, 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 blah. But I kind of love that they're keeping Alexa and Nikki together. It's so weird. And I love it. I love it a
Yeah.
lot, actually.
It's funny because, like, when it started, my concerns were like, I really don't want them to just throw away Nikki for this, like, whatever turn that might happen. But I like that they're committed to this weird thing. I like don't even know how to describe it. They're not a tag team because God fucking knows that division doesn't even exist anymore for all intents and purposes. But like this pairing works. If you had given me 1,000 fucking guesses what they were going to do with Nikki Cross, I never would have paired her with Alexa. But like Alexa is injury prone is maybe not the right word because that I don't know that that's actually necessarily true. She has had a lot of injuries that have like really stopped her in-ring use in WWE for like the last year, basically. It's been a long time. And so it's really nice to see like, okay, you're paired with this person who has this like big frenetic personality and energy. And so you can like have non-wrestling stuff that is compelling, even like despite viewers maybe feeling like me feeling like, I don't know, you're really gonna have to get me with this. And then they did. And like I feel like this is an example of something they sort of like the bar, where like you just threw these two fucking people together because you had to, and you had no clue what to do with these two singles competitors. And now here they are in this little grouping, and it fucking rules. And it's so good. And like, look at how much we got out of the bar for so fucking long. And like, maybe that's the case with Nikki and Alexa, that they just happen to have this chemistry that really fucking works for them. It's too bad they don't have a division to compete in.
Yeah.
But like I do like that they're doing this. I agree. I was very hesitant about it from basically the go, and I've really come around on it. And I think it speaks a lot to how talented the two of them are as performers too, that they like really made this fucking work for them.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but it's also great. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that led into like Natty cutting a promo that was awkward because it's Natty. She was like, I would like to call this make this a submission match, but I know Becky's a coward, so I'm not gonna say that this is a submission match.
But bitch, she's already done submission matches.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just so weird. It was just like Natty being Natty. Her hair looked good though.
She did look real good. Real good.
Good for Natty. Whatever. Other things that happened on Raw, there was a gauntlet match that was like fun, but also like, isn't the fun of a gauntlet match not knowing who's gonna win? Like Ricochet was obviously gonna win, right? Like that's also like Cesaro needs to like win some things sometimes. Like there's no reason Rey Mysterio went over on Cesaro and Sami Zayn. Like there's no reason anyone is losing to Rey Mysterio. I'm sorry. There's no fucking reason. He's not like a legend that's coming back for a push and is going to get the Universal Championship or something. He's just like a legend who's like middling and there. So like, why the fuck would you put Cesaro, who people are really into, like,
and we haven't seen as a singles competitor in so long, and then we get this dope match with Aleister Black, and then he loses to Rey Mysterio.
Right. And like he lost to Aleister Black, and like that like makes sense. But like there's no fucking reason he should have put down Rey Mysterio. That's bullshit. Like I guess I get it because Sammy's a heel, blah 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 blah, but like it should have been Cesaro. I was so mad. The OC became tag team champions.
Yes, I saw that. You get this whole stable full of gold for like a hot second.
Stable full of gold on a Raw and stable full of gold on SmackDown. Wonder what will happen. I mean, they did face off on SmackDown, and Kofi pinned AJ, which I think is, even though obviously the WWE Championship is more important than the United States Championship, I think it's also very, telling that Kofi is pinning a lot of people. And like, he's going. I'm so curious what they're going to do with this Randy Orton match, because like they put together this. Look, I don't like Randy Orton, but when Randy Orton is a heel and Randy Orton
gives a shit,
he's good at his job. That's fair. Yeah. I think he's very good at his job. I just happen to hate him, which is fine. But so he gives us really good like promo about like, him like getting Kofi's career off track and the stupid moment or whatever. And it like really like this is a classic, like this guy is a bad guy and this guy is a good guy. Will good triumph over evil match, right? But it's hard because it's like, obviously Kofi should win this. That's like the perfect culmination of this story. But also it's Randy Orton, and like, what the fuck? Because like sometimes like there's no reason like Randy should have beat Bray Wyatt, but he did, right? So it's like, but also like Kofi's one of their hottest things. Like, and people, I don't know. I'm so nervous. I'm really excited, but also very nervous about that match.
I feel like if there is a match, because SummerSlam isn't you know, I don't even want to say this definitively. I'm not really sure that this, if you look at the data, it's actually true. But I feel like there's not a lot of like wonky endings at SummerSlam because it's one of the big four. They try to make like definitive statements with a lot of those things. This could be one of those matches that we get like a shenanigans ending.
I don't
And
want that. I want a clean, clear win.
I mean, I
where
agree with
Kofi
that.
kicks ass.
I agree with that. But if they're gonna do something with it where like Randy gets his rub because he's always got to get his fucking rub.
Ew,
Like,
Randy's
I
rub.
mean, we all know about Randy's rub.
Ugh.
So if like that's something that they're like committed to doing for Randy, like I can see something like that also happening. And like, do I love that? No. Do I want Kofi to remain champion at basically any cost to Randy? Yes.
Yes. Correct.
Correct. Yes.
Also, there was a lot of Dolph Ziggler on the TV this week. It was terrible, but he did get embarrassed many times, so that was nice. And
nice.
then Brock Lesnar maybe exploded one of Seth Rollins' like lungs, but like kayfabe. At first, I was like, "Is this real?" And then Nick was like, "That blood is entirely too red to be real blood." And I was like, "Good point, good point, good point." But also, Seth took some nasty bumps from Brock Lesnar. Cause shocker, Brock Lesnar is bad at wrestling
and unsafe and doesn't give a shit.
But if it looks cool, it's cool if I just drop this person random places.
Mm-hmm.
They've given me permission to ruin their body. So I'm going to. So stupid.
Consent, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. They're trying to make Seth Rollins cool. He said put some stank on it. It was not cool.
Oh, God, no. You know how you could make Seth Rollins cool? Make him a fucking heel again. That he'd be super cool, actually. That would be very effective.
Yeah, it's so funny because like the Street Profits were cutting like hilarious promos and being the Street Profits and being amazing. And then Seth Rollins comes out and was like, "Hey guys, can you guys make me cool?" No.
Oh man, Becky Lynch can't make you cool.
Cool.
No one can make you cool.
Yeah, he's just not cool.
No, he's not. It like fundamentally is not cool. It's the same problem as Finn Balor. Finn Balor, great dick that gets showed to us all the goddamn time. Super ripped, great wrestler, not cool. Not cool. Not cool. Tried to make Leather Jacket Man his character while being a fundamentally uncool person. Like it's just not. It's not gonna happen.
He drinks water and likes Legos,
and is very, very publicly having a coming out party about being not at least into women now because he's engaged. I don't know if we actually mentioned that on the show. Finn Balor's engaged. If you've seen any post of his online in the last month, you're probably aware of this.
Yeah.
They got tattoos together. What a terrible idea.
Whatever. Maybe it will work. Sometimes people get tattoos.
They got tattoos of the coordinations that they met. That's a death knell. Don't do that.
I don't know. That seems easy to tattoo over.
If you want two big black bars to cover it.
You could put stuff over it.
Oh my God, ridiculous. I'm a firm believer, and you do not get tattoos of people until they are dead. That's the only time.
I do whatever you want, is my belief.
That's true. I'm just one of those people that like, there's no way I could disassociate a tattoo with those kind of memories. Like, I just couldn't do it. And so personally for me, I do not think that I could get a tattoo that's for a person unless they like came out of my body or were dead. Like, those are kind of my only two options.
That's absurd. So there was supposed to be some women's tag stuff happening because they kind of introduced it last week in that horrible segment with Mandy Rose. But then they did a WWE.com backstage segment where the Iconics pretended to be sick, which again is good heel work, but also like, what are these championships?
Yeah. What the fuck? What the fuck? How long has it been since they've been defended?
I don't know, quite some time. This is a perfect case of be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, truly. Man, it just could not be more obvious that they just want this division to not exist.
Speaking of, it was kind of fucked up watching Ms. and Mrs. this week because Maurice was talking about Evolution, how it's such a big deal, and how she wants to bring Monroe there, and it's going to be a really big pay-per-view, and like, you know, Miz rents like a fucking jet to take her there, all this stuff, and I was like, it was a fucking glorified house show
Yeah.
that's probably never going to happen again. And don't get me wrong, it was fucking fun. And I'm glad we went. And I thought it was really good.
Mhm.
But they didn't treat it with respect. And so,
No.
like, Maurice talking about it like it's this like be all end all was like kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah. And to see someone talking about like their anticipations for what this event was going to be like, knowing full well that she probably had the exact same reaction we did when we walked in and went, is this a fucking house show set? Like, man.
Somebody online was like, it wasn't a house show. It was the best pay-per-view of 2019 or 2018. And I was like,
True.
I mean, I would agree that it was the best pay-per-view of 2018, but also it was a fucking house show.
Yeah, like those things are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, fuck you. I was there.
Yeah.
Bailey and Ember had a backstage moment where Bailey was like, all right, Ember, all right. But also we got to tag together. So like, don't be a cunt, okay? And Ember was like, I'll do what I want. I'm scary. Ember's hair also looked fucking cool. Everybody had great hair this week.
They got to turn it out. They're like, hey, we're actually fucking here and SummerSlam is happening. We look great. It's all, got to get your hair done so that you can show up with this gear later. That's the whole deal.
They had a tag match with Alexa and Nikki, and like, surprise, they couldn't get on the same page because Bailey and Ember are fighting. Well, Alexa pinned Ember. It was actually quite a good match. There was a hilarious moment where Bailey was sitting outside the ring and Alexa was fighting her, and Alexa fixed Bailey's ponytail and then slapped her in the face. And I was like, best gif ever? I don't know. This is like, that was like a brilliant moment. It was so good. Alexa and Nikki had like great nights. I don't know. I really like them together. And then, you know, Ember and Bailey are there like, oh, we lost or whatever. And Bailey hit her with a Bailey to belly and was like, yeah, remember when you hit me with a fucking, I don't remember what they call it, eclipse? I was like, you know, O-face, not what we're allowed to call it anymore.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that it used to be called the O-face.
Yeah. Hit her with the eclipse last week. And so Bailey was like, turnabout's fair play, bitch. Later. I like this Bailey who's like, I'm not a heel, but I'm also not a pushover anymore. So fuck you guys.
I was going to say that this is a Bailey who fucks, but I don't actually think that's true. This is like Bailey who has learned about fucking and is like, I can do that someday.
I like this champ. And I think this match will be really good. I love Ember, but I do want Bailey to retain. I think Bailey deserves a lengthy run. And also Bailey is elevating Ember. Not like it looks good.
Mm-hmm. And like SummerSlam is an important place for Bailey to retain too. It would be a really good moment for her as a champion. Like, oh hey, I've had all these other times where they've really kneecapped me a bunch, and yeah, here I am having this like really great pullout at SummerSlam would be really good. And also like Ember has needed this elevation. It's been really important for her. I don't think she necessarily needs to hold the belt right now. And also, I don't think she necessarily needs to win at SummerSlam. Like, it is a Big Four pay-per-view. And would it be dope? And would I really like it if someone else was champion? Yeah, I would obviously be pulling for Ember. But I feel like this is such an important moment for Bailey as a champion that I really hope that she does keep it in the end.
Same. And then Trish Stratus was there with Jerry the King Lawler, and Trish is bad at talking and Jerry is the worst, and it was fucking awkward until thank God Charlotte came out and was like, this is a mess. I'm here to save this. Also, I'm really into Charlotte's very subtle and like natural looking makeup that she's just like, I don't need to be all done up because I'm fucking Charlotte Flair, and I really am into that.
Well, also, it's part of it, I know, is because Andrade has been like gassing her up. Like, you don't need filters. You don't need to wear makeup. You're fucking beautiful. I love you the way that you are. And it seems like she has really heard that message, like really, truly, and sincerely. And like, I don't want to be like, a man did this for her. But there is something about feeling truly beautiful and sexy and being like, I love this person and I think that they are drop dead gorgeous and they think I'm beautiful without anything on my face. Like, there's something very powerful or like naturally looking on my face. Like, there's something very powerful about that, and like you can see it in the way she moves. She's so fucking happy. Like, it just makes me so delighted for her.
Yeah, she fucking saved that segment. Yes. Also, except for she was like, oh, you're a mom, you can't do this because you're a mom. I really wanted her to be like, we have a fucking pregnant champion right now. I feel like that was a missed opportunity. But yeah, I'm excited to watch Trish versus Charlotte as long as there's minimal talking. I'm serious.
I mean, harsh, but true.
Charlotte can talk up a storm. Trish is like rough on the mic.
Yeah, I mean, that's not what they trained them to do. They didn't train them to do fucking shit, honestly, at the time, but like
And
that was
also, to
definitely
be
not a
fair, like,
priority.
who wants to talk to Jerry the King Lawler? I
True.
get it.
Fair.
So
I probably wouldn't put my best performance out either.
when he said one of the most prominent female superstars, I was like, don't say the word female. It was
Oh
so
my
gross
God.
coming out of his mouth. Female.
I hate
Like
it.
a specimen. Ugh.
Right?
Gross.
Oh God.
Roman Reigns was almost killed, but then he was fine. I literally have no idea what happened in that
This
segment.
is so weird.
So much stuff came crashing down on him, and none of it touched him. And I was
None
like,
of it
how
touched
did?
Also,
What?
why was there a camera angle from the view of the person pushing over the fucking scaffolding on him? I watched that GIF so many times because I was like, what is happening here? Why can we see it from this angle? Who put this camera here? Very bizarre.
Yeah. So stupid. Sorry, I was just on Twitter for a second, obviously.
God damn it.
Obviously, the best thing happening on any part of any show ever is Kevin Owens.
I mean,
I'm so in love with
evergreen.
Kevin Owens. So Shane was like, I can't be there because my life coach says it's not good for me. And then Kevin Owens came out and pretended to cry and was hilarious. And then him and Drew McIntyre had a fucking excellent goddamn match. Like, it's smart of them to realize that we actually never need to see Shane in the build up to this match. Sure, they will wrestle at SummerSlam, but who cares? Kevin Owens versus Drew fucking McIntyre was so good. And obviously, like, I'm biased. I love both those people and those wrestlers, but like, fucked. It was so good.
Awesome. I'm so glad. It's so nice to see Kevin being treated well. And like, I love that he just gets a bullet point sheet now. Like, that if you're going to start going back into that way of running creative where you Attitude Era style actually let wrestlers have their own creative freedom to do some promos how they fucking want and are good at, what a person to start with to demonstrate that they are fucking amazing at it.
Kevin
Like,
fucking
Kevin
Owens.
fucks.
Kevin fucks. And he's the goodest and the bestest. I love him so much.
He's the goodest and the bestest. You're so right.
Yeah, that was WWE wrestling.
Oh, wait. One thing that I do know about WWE wrestling, which is NXT related, which neither of us are fucking watching right now.
Well, I started catching up, so I'm watching it, but I'm still several episodes behind.
Well, when you
because I want to be caught up for Takeover.
Oh, smart. Well, when you get caught up, you'll find fucking Fandango is back, and he and Breeze are back together. They have a great. I only know that.
Yeah.
I watched the backstage segment where they're with Kathy Kelly, and Fandango shushes her for a hilariously long time, and then steals her microphone from her, lets her hold it the entire interview, and then takes it when he leaves.
That's
which
amazing.
was so good. But it was him coming out and talking to Breeze and being like, first Breeze is like, Tango, where have you been? What the fuck is going on, basically? And Fandango's like, listen, we were just in too deep, and I realized we were looking at everyone else's fashion, and our fashion has become bad. And Breeze is looking at this bright green and purple fur vest he's wearing, going, our fashion is bad? We are bad! And then they just leave together, and they've reopened the fashion files, it seems, but for themselves, and they're having a makeover. I'm so excited about it!
Amazing!
Fuck!
That's amazing!
I'm so excited about it.
Also, there are rumors that NXT might go to FS1 and like
I heard that too.
So like that. I mean, NXT should just be its own fucking brand. Like, who wants a call up at this point, really and truly?
Truly.
Just give them more money and let them stay there.
Yeah, fucking absolutely. Like, you know how many companies there were during the Monday Night Wars? Not 2, there were 3, because ECW was an important fucking part of that equation. And people left that company and went to other ones, but like, that's a very specific audience in the exact same way that NXT is a very specific audience. And so if people succeed there, they should be allowed to fucking stay there.
Yeah. Cool. Wrestling. We do have one question.
Yay!
This is from Johnny V. Hello, once more, Alpha Demis, which is a hilarious title.
So funny.
I would like to say that getting my last question read on y'all and y'all's reaction to it made my day. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
My first question is not really wrestling related, but pertains to the book discussions that have been happening recently. Would it be possible to get a book recommendation post or book list on the Patreon? Yeah.
Great
Totally.
idea.
That's
That's
a
a
great
fucking
idea.
great idea. Absolutely. I
Mine
keep
is going to be a lot of vampire stuff.
I could just go through my I keep records of all the books I've read. I've mentioned this a couple of times. I've been doing that since I was 17. Uh, I could just go through and I bold all of the like best books I've ever read. I can just go through all of those and like that can be my post. I'll put in
Great. You can
all
do
of the
your own post and then I'll
yeah.
do a vampire post.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good idea.
Just
I love
vampires and
stuff.
Shakespeare. I mean, I read other things too, but it's mostly those two things.
What have you been reading? Do you have a NYD Summer Book Club update?
I'm doing a lot of audiobooks, right? So
Right.
I just finished Changeless,
Mhm.
which is book 2 of the Parasol Protectorate. Again, I'm rereading them by listening, and I am on to Blameless. And it's funny because I remember, obviously, I've read Soulless like 100 times because it's my favorite book. And I've read the other Protectorate books multiple times, but I haven't read them in a while. And so I like remember the big things that happen in them. But then I'm like, oh yeah, they do go to Italy. Weird. I forgot about this part. This very important part of this book. So it's actually been really great to re-listen to them. So I'm already at Blameless. I'm just like burning through them, which
Good.
is great. I think the next book after I finish listening to the Parasol Protectorate is I'm going to re-listen to The Night Circus because
That book's good. I really like that book.
I remember reading that book and I remember liking it. And I remember that it has to do with magic and that there's a black and white circus and that's about fucking it.
Okay. I read it because I was working at Barnes and Noble at the time, and you already know who recommended it to me, and that's why I was very hesitant.
Recommended it to me too.
I was very hesitant to read it because I was like, "Your taste is garbage. I don't think I want this."
True.
It's not true. It's not true. Her taste had started to shift very dramatically in a way that I was like, I'm not into
Into
this.
weird magic and steampunk.
Yeah, but like
where we were going.
yeah, I just didn't trust it at the time. And I remember reading it, and the whole time I was reading it, I was like, this is so much fucking better than I was anticipating. And I think that's part of why I liked it so much, because I expected garbage and I got like just treasure. It was so good. I made my whole family read it.
I really remember liking it and when I read it. And so I think that is a good use of like audiobooks for me, being like, I did read this and I don't really remember what happened. So why don't I just listen to it instead of like taking the time to reread it? And then we are reading Ophelia.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I'm like
which
40 pages into it right now.
Is a young adult novel about Ophelia's perspective on the like goings on of Hamlet, in which she is not a fucking doormat, which I am appreciative of.
Yes, I agree.
And they made it into a movie.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, Daisy Ridley. I don't know. The girl from Star Wars is Ophelia.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense, actually. It's written by Lisa Klein. Yeah, it's really good. I'm so picky about the kind of like Shakespeare fan fiction I will read, because that's essentially what this is. It's a retelling from Ophelia's perspective with, I mean, spoiler, they tell you immediately that the ending is different, so I'm really picky about that kind of stuff. And so I'm like slowly getting into it and reading it a little bit at a time. And like, I am really enjoying it. I think it helps that it's a young adult novel that I feel like I can read a couple of chapters at a time and then be like, okay, I can set this down and go read something else and everything will be fine.
Yeah. So those are what I'm reading.
Nice.
I'm listening to, I guess.
Nice. I finished the Astronaut Wives Club. I conflated two people. It's not Neil Armstrong's daughter who drowns. It's Buzz Aldrin steals a monkey from the jungle and returns it, and it's like the child to him and his wife, and that dies. Neil's daughter died because she had pneumonia as a complication of leukemia, which is probably fucking worse. Maybe. I don't know. They'd both be really fucking tragic. So I conflated those and I wanted to correct that. But I finished Astronaut Wives Club. It was really fucking good. I really, really enjoyed it. It's a little like, it was obviously written to be read by a crowd that kind of wants to be a little whitewashed on the details of how fucked up their relationships were, but kind of still wants to know stuff. And so there was a little bit of like, man, I wish you would have talked a little more about how like Alan Shepard and his wife are clearly in an open relationship and no one will address it. And also like Buzz Aldrin was really abusive to his wife emotionally and maybe we should have addressed this. Like, I feel like they washed that out a little bit, but it's so well done in many other ways that even I was willing to look past that a little bit. So I would really recommend Astronaut Wives Club. I'm also reading, where did I put it? I'm also reading Jokes for the Gunman, which is one of the Man Booker Prize long lists. It didn't make the short list this year, but it made the long list. It's really fucking good. I checked it out from the library. I requested the library buy it. I made them get a copy so I could read it. And I'm taking it on my vacation with me. So I like read a little bit of it and was like, I have to put this down because I don't want to stop reading it. So I'm taking that with me. And as you saw on my Instagram, I just read The Kitchen for the first time. And
The Kitchen fucks.
It fucks. It was so good. I had never heard of it. I had no idea what it was until I saw the preview and was like, what is this? This is amazing. And I heard it was a book, not that it was a graphic novel, just that it was a book. And so I was like, cool, I'll go read this book. This sounds amazing. And then I requested it from the library and it shows up and it's a fucking graphic novel. And I was like, all of my dreams have come true. This is amazing. It's beautiful. Yeah. I love the art. I'm so excited. I don't know who is cast as who. I know who the cast is, but I was reading it and was like, wait, who's playing who here? But I don't care. I'm so excited. Like the whole thing is going to be so amazing. I like could not stop. I had to stop reading it at one point because I had to go do something. And I came back and was like, flying through it. And Michael's trying to talk to me and I was like, I just need to finish this. Can you just like wait like 30 minutes, please? So good. I loved it.
Yeah, it's funny because the preview came on and Nick was like, this looks dumb. And I went, shut up. Is this what I think it is? And I was like watching it. I was like, this is, isn't it? I was like, no, it's not. And then I Googled it and I was like, it is. Oh my God.
So good. It was so good.
It's really good. Highly recommend.
Like, the storytelling was really good. Like the characters are really compelling. My only complaint, the only thing I wish about it is that it had actually been longer. Like it's a short enough read that I was like, this could have been double the length and I would have been happy with it. Like it was just so fucking good.
Okay, so second question. Second, I share your worries about AEW seemingly putting over the Being the Elite people in every match. So it begs the question, what talent that is currently confirmed for AEW would you like to see them pushed instead of their Being the Elite guys? Thank you, demigods. Yours in the tag team mark negative zone, Johnny B. I mean, Sunny Kiss, obviously.
Yeah, definitely some. Yeah, for sure,
Sunny
Kiss.
Moon.
Nyla, obviously. Let's see.
Jimmy Havoc.
Yeah, Jimmy Havoc. That's a good one. Is Marco Stunt officially signed with AEW?
I don't know. I'm looking up their roster, like their official roster right now.
I think he is. I want to say they just announced that. I love him. I think he's great. He has such infectious energy. Jungle Boy, other great one. I would really love to see them push.
I don't care for Jungle Boy,
really?
To be honest. Yeah.
Ah, man.
Angelico fucks.
See, I like Angelico.
I love Angelico.
I think he's a pretty good wrestler. Something about him I just don't connect with anymore. I don't know what it is. Yeah.
But he's part of a tag team. Like there's a lot of stuff going on in the tag teams that I love because I love SCU. I love the Best Friends. I really like Angelico. Like I like the tag team division a lot. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited about all that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really good.
Because I mean, Angelico and Jack Evans is a great tag team.
Yeah, that's the thing is I really like them as a tag team, but Angelico as like an individual, I just don't connect with him anymore. I feel like maybe that could be your thing too with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, where like as a tag team you might enjoy them more, whereas you just don't connect with him in that way. That might watching more of it going forward.
I mean, obviously, I think that Jon Moxley deserves to be pushed over the Being the Elite guys. Like, I really do.
I fucking absolutely agree. Also, they're like he's competing in the G1, obviously, and it looks like I think that the final is going to be him and possibly Ibushi, which is interesting because John hasn't lost at all in New Japan, and they very large air quotes at this, don't have a partnership between AEW and New Japan that they've announced. And so it's interesting that they're continuing to push Mox so hard inside of this tournament. And I'm interested to see how he ultimately gets used there too, because he deserves to be pushed to the moon. Everyone understands he's like the biggest fucking thing in wrestling right now. And so it's interesting to watch how other companies are like adapting to that. Also to watch people fight over who gets to use him must be just fucking thrilling as someone who was just treated like worse than garbage for so many years. Like I just fucking love it. I think it's great. So yes, push him for sure. I'm trying to think of other women it's weird because there's not a women's.
Well, but like there's no Being the Elite to go over really. You know what I mean? So like the women.
I was gonna say that because it's Brandy is the only woman who really is part of
Yeah,
that.
but
Like,
I don't think they're fucking dumb enough to put a belt on Brandy, to be honest.
but
And I
well,
don't think that, but I think that I think the women's stuff is mute because like I think everybody in the women's division are kind of starting off on a relatively equal foot because there isn't a being the elite to go over on.
well, yes and no. I agree that there's so much of the division that doesn't have that, but I feel like a little bit of my worry is that Kong is going to become that person, that she's going to be the one that they're like, well, everyone really likes her, and technically she's not part of this stable, but
Yeah,
Brandy
but also
is the
Awesome
one who
Kong
pushes her.
fucks and deserves
Well, I
to
agree.
have belts.
That's why I say I'm like torn about it because I really like Kong and I want her to be pushed really hard, but in tying in with this group, like I don't always want the elite people to go over and like, is this an exception? Do I only feel this way because she's a woman and I'm okay with her being pushed? Like,
I
I don't
think
know. It's
putting Kong in the elite is, I don't think that is a thing. Like,
no, I'm not saying she's going to be in the elite. I'm saying that because Brandy is clearly pushing her as the like corporate use in wrestling, that she's tied into that.
yeah, but I still think that that's different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's exactly the same, but it's like I obviously have to interrogate my own feelings about how I feel that that fits inside of it. But I don't think that she's clean of that completely. Like that's why I didn't want to immediately say like, oh, I definitely want to see Kong get pushed in this sense over these people because I don't think that she's necessarily separate from them. That's all I mean.
But she also deserves it in a way that they
I
don't.
know, I know that.
All right. Any other thoughts about wrestling before I have to go pack and shower and things?
No, I don't think so. I think that's it.
Cool.
Hey, this was a pretty positive episode.
Yeah, I guess. You can find us on the internet. I'm at Stella_Cheeks.
I'm at Urgency on Twitter and NYD Urgency on Instagram, where I've been putting up a shitload of art. I've been making a lot. I don't know what happened. I was like, I'm going to stay up all night doing this, and I made 5 pieces.
And
So
you can
check
use
that out.
hashtag Not Your Demo Pod to interact with us.
You can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/notyourdemopod. We've got Every Mania Ever's up there. We have lots of Not Your Demo After Dark stories. Those are fun. There's a bunch of
impending
good shit
book
there.
list.
Impending book list. Yes, come check out our dope book list.
You can email us at notyourdemo@gmail.com, and you should go on iTunes or whatever and rate, review, subscribe, blah, 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 normal podcast shit.
Yeah. All right. Mark out.
Fuck off. That's the best sign off.
Save rules.